Good evening. Now, as at end of May, the Central Bank of Kenya estimated that 75% of SMEs were in distress due to the impact of COVID-19. This was based on the finding that most businesses were using their savings to keep their operations going due to low demand for their goods and services. Now, with some of them having been forced to temporarily close their offices and suspend operations, as a result, they had only 2 months worth of operational capital, meaning most businesses are currently in distress. Tomorrow, the 27th of June, the world marks the Micro, Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises Day, a day that comes against the backdrop of a pandemic and worrying trends in the sector. On this special broadcast, we focus on this sector that is a huge contributor to our economy and the effects of the pandemic. Now, how do we help our businesses back on their feet and to survive this storm? What opportunities are there to enhance businesses? How about the new normal? How do we go about them? We'll be dissecting all these issues with a team of experts. Good evening. I am Akisa Wandera. Glad you could join us, and you can also participate in this program by sending in your questions by logging into slido.com. Enter event code as MSMEs Day, hashtag MSMEs Day. We're also available on Twitter at KTN News KE. You can as well tweet me at Akisa Wandera using the hashtag International Day of MSMEs. I'll be taking in your questions for our experts, your opinions and thoughts. Perhaps you are an owner of a business. What are some of the challenges that you have gone through during this particular period since the first COVID-19 case was reported in the country in March or on March 15th. I'll be sampling a number of your views as we continue with the program tonight that runs through to 9 p.m. Let's now take a look at the team of experts that I'm talking about. Who do we have here for this conversation? I'll start with Ms. Mombasa Road, who is currently the head of marketing at the Industrial and Commercial Development Corporation, ICDC. She has a solid background in investments, finance and banking, having worked in senior management level positions in various commercial banks. Now, prior to joining ICDC, she was head of credit at Family Bank Limited. She sits on the boards of Everready, East Africa Limited and Development Bank of Kenya Limited. Ms. Mbithi holds a Masters of Business Administration degree in Strategic Management from the Moi University and a Bachelor of Science degree in International Business Administration from the United States International University, USIU. She's also a member of the Kenya Institute of Management and the Chartered Institute of Marketers. Ms. Mbithi, thank you. Ms. Mbithi, thank you for joining us tonight here on KTN Special for this conversation. Second, the only gentleman in our panel tonight, we have Mr. Henry Ridha, who is an accomplished hands-on thought leader with over 14 years of experience in the banking, microfinance and corporate strategy industry. He is currently the Chief Executive Officer of the Micro and Small Enterprises Authority, MSEA, a state agency mandated to coordinate, facilitate and implement the integration of various public and private sector initiatives for the promotion, development and regulation of the micro and small enterprises. Now, he's served in various management positions, both in public and private financial institutions, and we're glad to have him here tonight to share some of his experience in the sector. And of course, being from the authority, a lot of questions on how we are helping our small and medium-sized enterprises navigate through these tough times. And finally, we have Mrs. Anastasia Kimtai, an astute career banker with over 20 years experience in banking and over 10 years in senior management and strategic leadership and business development. She currently works with KCB Bank Kenya Limited as a retail director. She previously held roles including regional business manager and branch manager. In her tenure in the bank business, Anastasia has championed financial inclusion for customers at the bottom of the pyramid by developing products and services to serve this niche of clientele. Currently, she's working on a project for women inclusion in banking. She believes in strong leaders doing things and being accountable for results, effectiveness, reliable and competent. And she'll be telling us what are some of the initiatives that her bank as well as other banks should consider to help SMEs, given that access to credit remains a major challenge for this sector. And before we get into that conversation with our experts, COVID-19 has reduced traffic towards brick and mortar businesses, forcing many of these enterprises to move online. With this shift, what should the SMEs put into consideration if they are to thrive in e-commerce? KTN's Noakip Kemboy starts us off with that report.
E-commerce has been growing at an average rate of 18% annually over the past 6 years on the continent of Africa. In observing social distance and curfews, the COVID-19 pandemic has seen business more than before tap into electronic platforms.
Within about a week, business picked up again. For some of them, they're making more sales than they even ever did selling physically.
For Dave Ngugi, who runs Paytree, an e-commerce firm, online sales are rising, but only for those businesses doing it right.
Yeah, you'll go out there, pay whatever amount of money, get set up with an online business. However, you're left all on your own. You figure out your way. But I mean, it's a new space. You need to learn the intricacies of how to go about it. How am I supposed to promote this business?
This space comes with plenty of challenges, the biggest being fraud.
So as a business, maybe you sold a MacBook worth 200,000. You delivered the laptop. Then someone later on claimed that transaction was fraudulent. So normally what happens, the bank will transfer that charge to you. So you deliver the item, then you lose the cash.
To carve out from these challenges, an entrepreneur has to understand the e-commerce ecosystem.
Being able to create the distinction between selling online and actually marketing online, where you find people think that by posting my stuff on social media, on my WhatsApp status, I'm selling, but you're creating visibility, you're creating awareness that it exists, but how do I buy from you?
You should do targeted adverts. Also the way the website should operate, you should know exactly I'm targeting this niche market. If it's a niche product, you'll do targeted adverts on those areas.
Online businesses have created a reputation of delivering products that do not look like the pictures on the website, and often this diminishes customers' trust.
So when the delivery guys come, definitely you'll be frustrated. This is not what was posted on the site. So you should be able to post the actual photo of the products, because that's the main thing. The photo should be good quality, so the client can be able to see and know what to expect when the item is being delivered.
For businesses operating online, it is integral for one to have an easy and safe payment option, at the same time establish a very efficient delivery system if you are to prosper in the e-commerce platform. Noakip Kemboy, KTN News, Nairobi.
That story there by Noakip Kemboy is setting the stage for this special broadcast conversation on exploring the effects of COVID-19 on MSMEs in commemorating the International Day of MSMEs that will be marked tomorrow. Let's bring in our experts now, starting with you, Ms. Mbatha Mbithi, Head of Marketing, ICDC. You deal a lot with this business people from this particular sector, small and medium-sized. 3 months since March, we've just the other day crossed the 100-day mark of COVID-19 with us. Give us your assessment from your point of view of how bad this has been for this sector.
Well, thank you very much. What I would say is that it has not just been bad for this sector. It's been bad for all sectors of the economy. And of course, SMEs operate in various sectors of the economy. So as we look at how bad it's been, is to look at and see that there are businesses that have actually closed their doors. Some of them not because they don't have business, but because they have to adhere to the health protocols by the Ministry of Health. They have to adhere to the challenges brought about by the cessation of movement and of course the control of hours because of the curfews, which means that their business, the time that they have to do business is shortened. Therefore, output of the business is lower. And therefore, it means that if they're going to keep retaining their staff, they have to continue paying them. And we know that SMEs in this country struggle a lot when it comes to cash flow. And so cash flow in these 100 days has been an issue. And therefore, SMEs have had to send their staff home, some on unpaid leave. Some have had to actually release their staff, regrettably. But of course, once this is over and business begins to pick up, they will go back and get these employees back.
Well, Mr. Arida, coming from the Micro and Small Enterprises Authority, this finds you right in the middle of it all. We're seeing government interventions. Money will go through you to support these enterprises. In your opening remarks, perhaps from where you sit, how are we doing so far? How is the situation from what you've dealt with so far for the MSMEs?
Thank you very much. That's an interesting question because it goes to the heart of what is affecting our micro and small entrepreneurs. Now, like my colleague has mentioned, the structure of the small enterprise has been disrupted completely because the hours in business, the hours in production, the route to the market has been seriously and severely disrupted by the curfew, and the social structure that is the backbone of the enterprises in this sector has been disrupted. So we are experiencing a scenario where the liquidity is completely constrained in the market, noting that in our sector, most of them live in what I would call hand to mouth. So any disruption of a day or two has a serious effect in the household, at the household level. And that translates then to a serious disruption in the socio-economic setup of our society, especially because of the low income levels that we have. Now, back to your question then. It has not been easy for them, but the government has come in through various interventions, starting from what His Excellency the President has talked about, the stimulus package that I know we'll cover extensively in this discussion. But most importantly, the government has come in to reduce the pain at various points. First of all, at the household level, just trying to stimulate demand through the essential services, trying to stimulate demand at the household level for the products that are produced by our members, and also trying to encourage our members to try and get alternative means of production, changing the production lines to provide only the essential products that are moving. Mm-hmm. And then the recent relaxation of the containment measures in some areas has been very, very, very encouraging for our sector. But we will be able to cover much more in this discussion.
Definitely, especially on the containment measures. You'll be speaking expansively on that and the government interventions so far. Finally, just to get to the opening remarks from our third panelist, Mrs. Anastasia Kimtai, the Director, Retail Banking, KCB Bank Kenya Limited. Access to credit has been a major headache, and not just now. It's a conversation that has been there for a while, but also we are seeing banks restructuring loans to help individuals and businesses wade through the storm. Perhaps speak to us about that and what it's been like.
Thank you so much, Wandera. It's been a great problem for the business customers across the country, and more specifically because of the reduced demand and reduced traffic. So there was a strain in terms of cash flow. And we do take into consideration these uncertainties and this unease within the economy, and that's why, as KCB, we put it as a priority item to ensure that there's continuity of the businesses. And for that, we have restructured to date 120 billion Kenya shillings for our businesses customers, and you will note that this is one of the largest restructuring in the country. Second, we also ensure that we didn't pass the cost of this restructuring to our customers. We actually bore the cost ourselves. Over and above that, Wandera, we've also ensured that we ease the cost of transacting. This is when customers are transacting, be it from their wallet or their account. This was zero rated. And we've been on the journey of encouraging and migrating our customers onto the digital platform, which is cost-effective. And over and above just credit, Wandera, you will appreciate that the business customer does not only need financial solutions, they do also need non-financial solutions. And that's why KCB has been quite aggressive in terms of a communication, because information is power, and we've done over 23 webinars as at now to just advise our customers and advise them where they can get some of these services and solutions,
right,
and what they need to do at this crisis.
Right.
Thank you.
And I like that you mentioned solutions, because those are some of the things we'll be giving in this forum, practical solutions for those in the micro, small and medium-sized businesses. But first, we spoke to a number of business people in this particular sector on what it's been like since, this pandemic came with us, and of course the curfew and some of the restrictions that followed. And this is what they had to say.
The curfew has done a lot to us, because no customers are really coming to see us. And our business is little business, hand to mouth. So in another way, it has helped. If it will help in reducing this corona thing, it's good. But to business, we're really suffering.
Hii shughuli yetu inakuwaga ya kungoja wasee. Unangoja wasee, ule umewahi ndo unachapia. Mimi hufunga kitu 6:30. Lakini kuanzia mambo ya curfew yaanze, vile itaanza leo sasa, hatujui itakuwaje, sababu itabidi tumefunga kitu mapema kidogo, kitu kama 3:30 for hapo ndio saa moja tukue tumefika mahome.
Normally open quite a bit early. And the closing time is normally around by 7. That's when the shop is closed. So with the curfew and all that, it's going to affect us, because now we have to be closing at 4 and all that. And maybe sometimes you'll find that there's that one walk-in client, maybe who went to work and now they're leaving the office. So when they come and they find the shop is closed and something like that, yeah. Well, so a number of entrepreneurs, they're speaking to us earlier on what have been the challenges since the curfew set in, the new regulations and restrictions. I think I'll take it back to you, Mrs. Kimtai, because earlier on we spoke about then what do they need to do to survive. Let's start from there with you.
Thank you, Wandera. The most important thing for a business enterprise right now to do is to make sure that they do take care of their expenses. You need to account for each and every coin. This is not the time to spend on, we normally call them the ugly cost. You need to spend on the good cost and make sure that at this particular moment you actually track each and every coin and take care of your cash flow. The next thing at this particular time also is to take care of those surviving customers. This is one of the times that you really need to love these surviving customers so that they can come back for the repeat services. Third item is to take care of some of the benefits that we currently have. We know that the government has extended some tax rebates to the business clients. Do our business customers know about that? Take care of that so that at least it can save you a few coins here and there. And then we also, as a business, need to take care of some of the information which is available there. Key among them, as of right now, do you really need to expand in your business or you need to survive? And that's something, some of the decisions that you need to make so that you can survive. At this particular moment, Wandera, any business enterprise must think about survival, and then any other thing will be done after we've survived. And then take care of the benefits that even the corporate institutions are offering. As of now, as a KCB, we make sure that we actually buy from our businesses, customers, so that we can create that demand for them. So reach out to your suppliers, reach out to the actors in this ecosystem and take advantage of them. Even in terms of delivering your goods, engage them so that at least you can schedule some of these deliveries and it can make it easy for you to meet the customer's demand. And finally, people. is very critical. As much as you take care of the productivity, you also need to carry along your staff so that the staff can actually understand the position we are in, protect them first of all, and then motivate them, inspire them for them to take care and cherish that clan at this particular time like never before, and for them also to take care of the cost so that the business can be sustainable and can survive this pandemic.
All right. Yes, Ms. Mbidi there, Ms. Kimutai talking about the good costs and the ugly costs. And my next question is in line as well with the question I'm already saying here from Kevo Ward Adori, who says, how can you ensure that you minimize the input and maximize the output amidst a pandemic? Ms. Mbidi, you deal a lot with advising businesses, whether small or medium-sized. Speak to us about that, and of course, on that question by Kevin Adori.
Okay. I think I'll first start by talking about the institution that I work for, that is the Industrial and Commercial Development Corporation. We have been in business. This year we will be turning 66 at the end of the year. And we have actually been in the business of creating, nurturing, and growing enterprises. We grow them from SME, and then we grow them into medium-sized corporates and into large corporates. So when I look at that and I look at what's going on currently, yes, SMEs are challenged, but I think it gives them an opportunity to relook at their businesses, to rethink the businesses, and to repurpose the businesses. Okay, at this point in time, maybe you're in a business in a sector that's not performing at this point in time. But what else can that business do? We've seen a number of very innovative SMEs actually repurpose their businesses and start producing PPEs, start producing face masks, start producing sanitizers. In fact, we have a customer that we have worked with and we have invested in, and he's in the pharmaceutical industry, and he's currently producing sanitizers and supporting the government's initiatives in the fight against COVID-19. I think as at now, he's the one that's providing like 80% of the sanitizers that are required by government. So it's about repurposing your business. If the current opportunities that COVID presents are not in line with your business, then it's time to start thinking about, do I need to rejig this business? Do I need to change my business model? Because if the business model won't hold as at now, then it's time to start thinking of a different business model. And we've seen that with COVID, what has happened is that our eyes have been opened to the technological scene. Can you take your business online? Because even as at now, if you've got overheads of rent, you've got overheads of staff in the shops or in the business that you operate in, can you take that business online? Can you begin to advertise your products online? Can you also link up with an online payment system so that people can order your products and pay for them online? And to that end, we've also financed a customer in the IT sector who has a payment solution for small businesses, where even the entrepreneurs that manage these small businesses are able to manage the businesses online by having a program, an app on their phones where they are able to see their trial balance at the end of the day. They don't necessarily have to be present within the business to know how the business is performing. If the reorder quantity levels of the raw material has been reached, then they can actually make that order through their phone. So these are all innovative and creative ways in which small businesses can actually ride this pandemic and beyond the pandemic begin to do business in a new way.
Taking advantage of the situation and maybe exploring the opportunities, Mr. Ritha, coming from the authority, there are very new normals that we are dealing with right now that maybe businesses would have to pick up going forward. Speaks to us about maybe are there some new business models that these people need to start thinking about even as we go forward and even as they deal with this pandemic? What needs to happen?
Thank you for that question. And at the Micro and Small Enterprises Authority, our business is to ensure that these enterprises thrive in good times and at times like now. And I think then that your question is very interesting, because one of the things that we are mandated to do is to make it easy for the MSEs, the micro and small entrepreneurs, to reach the market. The shorter the route to the market, the more cost-effective and convenient for our members. So having learned from what is happening now, there are several things that have to be done, both by the private and the public sector and the individual MSEs. The first one is, if the physical market, that is the mainstay of our members, has been disrupted like has happened now, then we must invest in technology. Technology here, so that issues of digital marketing are properly addressed, issues of online marketing, issues of teleconferencing, video meetings and the like, have to be addressed. And for that reason then, we in government and even the private sector must put in place appropriate infrastructure that will support the micro and small entrepreneurs in the short term to be able to market their products online. But in the long term, we must build the capacity in them to adopt modern technology in marketing. The second thing that we must now have learned is that the market that you operate in is actually very, very, very integrated, such that a small disruption in a small enterprise has a ripple effect even in the large corporate sector, which then calls for better integration of the market, so that we have models like franchising, we have models like a contracted production, subcontracting, so that even when the faraway markets in China, in the UK and the like are disrupted, we have enough capacity at least to survive for a few months through the local, the domestic and the regional value chains in production. The third thing that we have learned, and this one will become a must, is that businesses, be they the small ones and the large corporates, must of necessity invest in appropriate risk management strategies. And I'll just give one example. The reason why our enterprises have not or will not survive properly, one of them is that there are very few small entrepreneurs that have invested in insurance services, for example, which is an issue of capacity, because most of them do not understand the value of that. So going forward then, we must inculcate proper, affordable, and simplified access to insurance services at the micro level, and also maybe things like micro savings, micro pensions arrangements, working with the financial services sector, so that our entrepreneurs can save for the rainy day, can save for tomorrow, even if it means just saving 20 shillings per day. It is a good investment for a time like now. There's a strong need then for diversified business operations in terms of production, for diversified markets, and an integrated structure for the MSEs. Thank you.
Diversity, good one there. We'll be speaking more on that. And when we get back, because I'd like us to take a quick break, each of our panelists will be speaking about their organizations and how they're helping MSMEs stay afloat and some of the interventions that have been there so far. Stay with us. Remember, you can join us for this conversation. Send in your questions on slido.com. The hashtag will be on your screen. You can as well send us your questions and comments on Twitter at KTN News KE, at Akisa Wandera. The hashtag as well will be on your screen. We'd love to hear from you and some of your concerns around this particular sector, even as the country continues to race against time in dealing with this pandemic. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back with more.